Hello and welcome back. I'm going to show you what's going on right now. This is my Capra here, and last time I took it out, I actually stripped the servo horn, the splines on that. It basically hit a rock with this. It was doing bouncer things, and it hit it so hard that it actually bent the stub shaft, and it spun this on the end of the servo. I put a ProTech 370 TBL in it, and that is a very, very strong servo. I've got one on my Red Cat Gen 7 that I compete with, and it's strong enough to break this rather than break the servo. It's also fast and powerful on 6 volts, which gives you a little bit more runtime. But I was realizing that I don't want to have to be replacing these all the time because they take a while to buy and show up at my house, or I have to go drive for a while. And I thought on my bouncer, it's the Ryft, I bought one of these ServoAF Draglinks. And I'll show you what I did to modify it to be the right length for the Capra. So when I bought it, it comes with a link like this, equal length, and what do you call these, end links, and that was going to make the the Draglink too long. On the Ryft, it's fine. I did have to put, this is a long one, same as this here, and even on the Ryft, I had to put a bit of a shorter end link on it. Well, I don't know whether these are Traxxas or I think it's an axial end link, being that it's I don't know, that might be a Traxxas for all I know. But anyway, by doing that, I made it the same length as the stock one for the Ryft. So I'm going to put this on, and what this does is it's very strong, but if your wheel takes a hit, sorry about that, I can't squeeze with my hands like this because it maybe a little bit, but it has a spring, so it resists being compressed and it resists being extended, but it will do both. And it is a servo saver. It's by ServoAF.com, and since putting one on my Ryft here, I've not broken a single servo or servo arm, either one. So I figured I'll put it on my Capra, and worst case scenario, I'll have something that will keep me from overloading my servo and breaking the servo horns, which I guess break frequently. The more powerful your rig is and the heavier it is, the more brass you put on it, the more likely it is to break, just because it's going to experience higher forces. So with the 2300 kV brushless motor, 2-in-1 Fusion, it's going to have higher forces. So I figured I would put something on here like this link. Again, I took the extra length out of it by swapping the end links, and I think it dropped it by about 0.5 centimeter. See, that's stock length right there, and right there, yeah, it's 0.5 centimeter, about 1/4 inch less. And I'll throw it on the Capra, and it should be just about perfect. Alright, this is what it looks like with the Draglink installed, and it's perfect. That is just right. So this will allow a little bit of play in that, which is good, because what that'll do is it will offload over pressures from either steering or binding, and that is going to keep my servo horn from being damaged, the servo, and hopefully also the stub shafts here on the end that come out of the portal box. I have damaged 2 stub shafts in 2 times out, and I've got 8 more on order, so they'll get here eventually. In the meantime, I'd rather not be replacing them every time I go drive. So I think this will do a great job on that. I did also replace the servo horn because I didn't want this huge offset. I wanted this bar to be more over here instead of pushed out, because it just gives it a straighter pull from the servo arm out. I don't want this drag link coming out here forward, just due to the fact that this thing is bumped out so far. So I think that's more in line. It should have a little bit better push-pull torque effect from it. So I probably did give up a little bit of servo torque, but that is in the interest of saving components. So I think it's worth it. A lot of the upgrades I do on these trucks are to make them perform better, and the other ones are to keep them from breaking. So both are equally important, because if you have a truck that won't perform, it's frustrating. And if you have a broken truck, you don't even get to drive it. That's even more frustrating. So I don't feel like I gave up that much, but it's a $50 part. ServoAF.com sells them. I don't make a cent from telling you that. I paid for those myself, but I stand behind them. I've got one on my Capra now. I've got one on my Bomber, and also one on my Ryft, and have not broken a single servo or steering component since installing those. So take it or leave it, just my opinion. One other thing I failed to mention is, in doing this, I did have to shave the bottom of that servo arm a little bit. You can see where it's silver right there. And the reason that I shaved that right there is because it was trying to hit the diff cover. So if your parts don't miss each other, they're going to hit, and then it's going to cause big problems. So make sure that you look at these things when you change them out, and test them through the full range of motion with the radio, not just by your hand, but with the radio, and then you can see how it actually moves. And I had to make sure that Power Hobbies 25-2 servo arm did not hit anything, and it clears the link itself. I shaved some of those bolt looking things off of the end link, just so that it would miss the servo arm, and then I shaved the end of the bottom to give it a little more room back there, so it wouldn't hit the axle housing back there. So just make sure everything clears when you put your trucks together, especially all the moving pieces. So you don't want to get out there and burn up a servo because you've got pieces hitting each other and parts are getting kind of worn through because they're hitting each other when they shouldn't. So that's all for tonight. We'll talk to y'all later.